These are the AUXBEAM V-ULTRA 5-inch series lights, and I have decided to up my lighting on my Jeep JK. I used to have these pod lights on there. I stuck those on my Can-Am for now, but I've decided to put these on my Jeep JK. Today in this video, I'm going to show you what comes in this box, how super easy the wiring is in here, and I'm going to show you how I install it in my Jeep JK. Let's get started. You're going to be amazed at how easy this is. You are important. That's AUXBEAM for you. From my experience, this is a really great company. I've heard a lot of good things about AUXBEAM. So it comes with a sticker, of course, a little instructions, but you do not need instructions for these at all. Okay, here's your lights. Pretty nice. Let's take one out. Let's look at the light. Pop these grills off. Look at that. Pretty nice light. Comes with some solid wiring. Look at that. Waterproof plug. Pretty nice. And it comes with the grills. So there's the light. Let me show you the wiring and how easy these are to wire up. You're going to be amazed. We're going to have these wired up and on in probably under a minute. Okay, here's the wiring loom. Everything is right here together. This is everything you need. Comes with the switch, and this switch turns on both. You got a daytime running light in here, and you got your regular bright light. So I'm going to show you that right now. It's bright out here today, so we may not be able to see them, but later in this video, I am going to show you how I mounted them, and I'm going to show you also at night the difference between the two lights. Okay, here's how simple this is. You have plus and minus right here. I'm going to throw these on real quick. We're not going to tighten them down. I'm just going to turn them, hook them up. There you go. They're hooked up. Let's take the light and let's plug this light in. Simple. Look at this. Boom. And that light, you have your switch right here. Look at that. There's your light. That's a pretty bright light, and it's daytime. The sun is straight up, and it is pretty light. Okay, here's your daytime runnings. As you can, oh, let me shut that off. There you go. Sorry about that. Here's your daytime running lights. There you go. You have it all on this switch right here. Turn on the light. And that, my friends, that is how simple the wiring is on this setup. Everything you need is right there, ready to go. Now, I'm going to throw them in my Jeep JK, and I'm going to show you how I did it. But before we do that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Tim. I'm with Sandblast Extreme Adventures. I have a YouTube channel, and we do adventuring in my Can-Am X3 and my Jeep JK. AUXBEAM has been nice enough to send me these lights and ask if I could make a video, because that's what I do. I have a YouTube channel and I make videos. So they've asked me if I could make a video, give my personal opinion about these lights, and that's exactly what I'm going to do for you guys. But wait, there's more. AUXBEAM actually sent me a hyperlink and a promo code to get 15% off your first purchase. So I'm going to put that below in the description. So if this is something you're interested in, you might want to use that promo code. It might save you a couple bucks. I don't make any money off of it, but it does help you guys out. Now, I did install the AUXBEAM switch panel, the Slim 6 switch panel in my Can-Am X3, so you might want to check out that video of mine. Go down on my channel, you can find that video, and you might want to purchase that at the same time if you're going to be purchasing a set of these lights. And voila, there they are, the power of the internet. That's how simple it is. It only took that long. No, just kidding, but it actually really was super easy wiring these up. Like I said before, everything comes with it. There they are. What do you think? How do they look? I think they look pretty nice. Stick around, because I'm going to show you what they look like at nighttime up against these little pod lights. So I'll give you an example of that in just a minute. They come with a little cover, so you can throw that cover on there. I don't like shiny black, so I'm probably going to paint this all like a satin black. But here's how the cover goes on. Real nice and easy. Bingo, upside down. There you go. AUXBEAM. Pretty nice. Now let me show you some of the functions on these lights. So as you can see right now, come on over here, let's check it out. As you can see right now, we have the daytime running light is on. That's your daytime running light. Let me turn that off. There's your light. There's your daytime running lights off. So you have two separate switches in here. That's your daytime running. And there's your light. Awesome. There you go. All right. So there they are. Now how did I wire them? Let me show you. Well, here's where I've decided to put my wiring. So I got my plug for my lights right here. I had to pull this panel off on my JK. There's 4 Torx bolts that go here. I don't know what the number is. And then there's 4 little plastic clips. These little things. And those come out. And then you pull your windshield wiper blade off, which goes here. You just kind of wiggle it and it pops off. And that takes this whole panel out, which is right here. So I pulled that out. I'm running the wiring underneath there, and all this excess wire, I'm gonna actually tuck up underneath this piece. There's a big cavity under here, and that's where I ran my wires through. Both wires come out right there. And I'm gonna tuck all this underneath there and keep that out of the way. And then I have my relay switch, which is gonna go right here. I know I got some, this is all brittly, and so don't judge me, but I'm gonna put that little relay right there, and then your positive and minus, and my fuse will be right here. Let me show you where I put the switch for it inside. Wire down here, and down in there, you can see that one little spot down there where that wire came through. That's where it goes through into the car. And then I popped off this little side panel right here, and you can access there. I pulled that wire from under here, ran it up here, and I'm just gonna put my switch right here, out of the way, easily accessible to the window. So I got all the wires in place. Now we're gonna get everything hooked up, put it back together. All right, I got that panel back in. Like I told you before, there's 4 of these little Torx bolts and 4 little black plastic clips right there. And this comes out. I tucked all my wires real nice. You can hardly even see them. Up into there. That's where all the extra wire. I ran this around here. I zip tied everything nice and tight so we won't get anything moving around. And I just ran my power wire here. Here's my fuse. And then I ran the switch wire across the top over here. Zip tied it to there. And like I showed you before, it goes in, there's a little, and you see that hole right there? There's a little hole, and it has some rubber stuff in front of it. So I poked a hole right in the center of it, and that plug fit right through there on my Jeep JK. This is a 2007 Jeep JK. And then just tucked a little wire right in here when I put this panel back, so it looks super clean. We don't have a bunch of wires all over the place. And then got to get all this set. I won't tighten these up till I get everything set on where I want the light to shine. Comes with a wrench for these. Got to tighten this up, make sure that's snug so they don't fall off on the road. And now let me show you inside where I put this switch. Okay, this panel just pops right out. You just pull it like that, and it pops right out. And then I was able to run my wire down in behind there, and I have my switch just right here. Real simply, it's got some sticky on the back. We can peel and stick that right there, but it doesn't move around much at all. There you go. It's got the 2 switches, daytime running light, and then your regular lights. And what's nice about putting the switch on this side, someday I might get the switch panel that goes here, or I might get that AUXBEAM 6-gang switch panel like that. That's my plan. And possibly put that here, or I might put that down here. And if I do that, then I'll just rerun those wires. Not a big deal. But the nice thing about having it right here is I can reach right in the window. If the window's down, I can reach in the window, turn it on, turn it off, whatever. So that's how I did it. Really a simple hookup. I think the lights look really nice. All right, now let's get it dark out so we can test out these lights up against these little pod lights. These are a popular pod light. A lot of people have these, and I thought What an upgrade to put on those bigger ones, get a lot more light. We're gonna see how much more light they produce as soon as it gets dark. All right, it's almost dark, and before it gets dark, I wanted to show you guys what these look like. I got the vehicles staged here. Lights look pretty nice. There they are. And I got the Can-Am here with its little lights. We're definitely upgrading there. I mean, it's gonna be no competition, of course, but what an upgrade it's gonna be from these little lights here. These in the Can-Am run off of this switch panel that I've told you guys about. I did another video on this, and this thing's really cool. You just turn them on like that. It does all sorts of functions, but there they are on in the Can-Am. Looks pretty bright. Let's turn the ones on in the Jeep. Like I said, I got that switch right here. There's those. See how bright these are. Those are pretty bright. Definitely brighter than the Can-Am. It's not quite dark yet. I just wanted to see what it's going to look like before we get into full darkness, because it's going to be harder to see, but we will be able to see how much light here on the property. We got a nice little area, got a fence line up there, so we'll be able to tell how far that light's shooting. We are angled down a little bit the way we're parked, but just want to give you an idea. I'm sure it's going to be different on everybody's vehicle. Let's turn these off here. Pretty cool switch panel. AUXBEAM switch panel. You got to get one of those. All right, there's the daytime running lights. Looks pretty nice. I dig on those just to be a little more visible when you're wheeling. I also have daytime running lights on these that I haven't wired up yet. I have them wired in so they come on all the time. So there's the daytime runnings. I really like them. And then if you turn on both, should give you an idea. There you go. And there's both. You can barely see the orange with both on. Now it's dark out. We got a little backlighting, but there's our light out front. Let's first turn on the Can-Am lights. There we go. That's the kind of light we got. As you can see, the little darkness on that trailer there, a little dark over there, but it's pretty bright in the center, and that a little dark on those sides, and that's these lights on the Can-Am, the pod lights. Now let's turn those off, and let's turn on the lights in the Jeep. Got our switch here, and there you go. Look at that. Look at that. It is daylight on the trailer, because we got these side shooters on these lights. These things are super bright out the side, and it just lights up everything. We can see the Can-Am. We can see all the way past the fence, and we can see out the side. Look at these side shooters. They are so bright. I switched over to my phone for this because it shows things better at nighttime than the GoPro. But look at it, it's basically daylight over here. You can see the dark area right here. But man, those lights put out some serious beams. Super bright. Let's put on the Can-Am lights right side by side with them. There's the Can-Am lights. Let's turn off the Jeep lights. So there you go. That is the Can-Am lights on. And now here's the Jeep lights with those side shooters. Look at that. It just lights up everything like daylight over here. Unbelievable. Let's take a look from over here. Man, those things are absolutely bright. I know you can't see it on camera, but look, it is daylight up here. There they are. Look about the same on camera looking directly at it, but definitely quite a difference when you look this way. Those Jeep lights, definitely with those side shooters, that's one of the biggest difference, and one of the best things that these lights have is this side shooter. Because look at that. And that's with me covering up the side shooter. Crazy. Now watch, let's turn these off, turn off the Jeep ones. There you go. It's darkness on all sides. Look at that. Just full darkness on all sides. Turn back on the Jeep ones. Bam. It is daylight. Over there, all the way over to the side of the trailer. And the Can-Am and the Jeep are parked side by side. So there you go. That's the two lights put up against each other. Here's those. Let's turn this off. This is that AUXBEAM switch panel that I showed you guys. Really cool. Check out my video on that one. That's those off. And here's the daytime runnings at night. Pretty cool. I like them. And now let's try the Jeep with the daytime running, the lights, and the headlights. And now, man, we got some serious light. There is nothing out here that you cannot see. Absolutely super bright. Pretty impressive. And then one last thing, I wanted to show you what it looked like with just the parking lights and those daytime running lights. It's hard to tell because it's got quite a glare. They're pretty bright. And that is it for the AUXBEAM V-ULTRA 5-inch series lights. Really cool lights. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you found some value in that video. I hope I helped you out if you have a Jeep JK like mine. If not, I hope I showed you what you needed to know about these lights. I really like them. I think they're really cool. And like I said before, AUXBEAM sent me a promo code and a hyperlink that I'm going to put in the description down below, so you guys can get 15% off your first order, or I don't know, maybe the promo code will work a couple times. You can try that. But I would say check that out. Make sure you check out my other video with the AUXBEAM Slim switch panel with the 6 switches. Go down on my content and check that out. And other than that, guys, we'll see you out on the next adventure.